Hello out there in Photoland. This is Rich with Rich Baum Photography, Sacramento, California. And I normally do real estate photography videos, real estate photography and real estate photography editing. But today I'm going to do a little hotel editing. And this was a project I recently did. I went down to Mexico to shoot a resort. And it wasn't a real big resort, and I was doing it for a trade, which is something I often do when I go traveling the world. I like to trade for hotel rooms. We got windsurfing and kite rentals, and many other things, food and things like that. So it was really nice, great way to supplement a family vacation. But what we're going to do today is to show you how to get rid of, look in here, I'm just going to zoom in here on this is the finished product. We have nice sheets here. We still have a few wrinkles, and that's okay. I don't mind a few wrinkles, but if you look at the shot right here, actually let's go down to the flash shot, you'll see we have quite a few wrinkles there. So we're going to show you how to get rid of the wrinkles there. And again, we're not going to get rid of them all, but we're just going to get rid of the overall wrinkles. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways of doing that. And actually, I'll be honest, this is a technique I learned on the internet from a couple of people, but one was Serge Romali. Some of you might follow him. But I'm also going to show you how I edited this shot. So we're dealing with a few things here. We've got some a window view, which is really key in this situation. And we've just got a nice simple room, very, very easy to shoot, very easy to light. Probably took me 5 minutes, 10 minutes to shoot, and then it's going to take me about 5-10 minutes to edit, which isn't bad for a hotel shoot. Normally it takes me a lot longer. Anyway, so let's go here and start with the ambient shot. As I do, I'm going to do ambient, flash shot, and then a window shot. So with the ambient shot, all I want to do is I'm going to take my highlights down. Oh, and just so you know, the ambient shot is ISO 200, so I deviated from my normal ISO 320 or ISO 400. And I found the 200, I wanted a little less noise. It was a very small room, I could light it easily, and so it was very manageable. It's 1/20th of a second. So I had a fairly good amount of light in here. And I want to raise the exposure up just a little bit. Okay? Now let's go over to the flash shot. And one thing I'm going to do with the flash shot, and this is 1/80th at 200 ISO. So you can change your ISO, letting you know, because I did the flash shot here at ISO 100. You can change your ISO in a bracket. You can also change your shutter speed, obviously, but you can't change your aperture and f-stop because that will change the focus, the depth of field, and it won't work. So anyway, let's go back to our flash shot. So we're just going to go to the full bump down here. There we go, nice. And I'm just going to bring down the exposure just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. I could actually probably deliver this whole shot if it was a real estate shot. But because it's a hotel shot, I'm going to go a little further. One thing you might notice too is I've got all my presets I use a lot. These are presets I made, and they're really simple. You just go to a setting here, and then you click the plus on presets, and you name your preset, and then you click what you want the preset to save from here. So we're not going to go into that today, but I just wanted to show you. And I use the name, I put the Z on there so they will go all the way to the bottom and they'll be together because Lightroom organizes your presets by alphabetical order. So anyway, let's now take this flash shot, and we're looking good here. I lowered the exposure a little bit. Now let's go to the flash window pull. And this is pretty good. And this is 1/60th of a second at ISO 100. And what we're doing is I pointed my flash. I had a single speed light. I pointed at the window. And it's good here, but I'm going to do a new preset And I'm using a thing called dehaze pop. And the dehaze pop is basically the full bump, and I use a little bit of dehaze. Dehaze is down here in the effects. And you just want to use a little bit, but this preset, here we go. There it goes. And it really makes a nice pop. It adds a little more. I might have had a little more saturation, but I'm just adding about 15. Let me bring it up to 20%. And it really made the window pop. Okay, I think you'll agree. So let's go back to, let me see, let's just go Command Z to go backwards. There we go. And there's the window. Just look at the window. I'm going to do these dehaze pop. Really made it nice. Look at that. It's so nice in there. Okay, so the view is obviously what we're selling here. So this is important. Okay, so we've got our ambient shot, our flash shot, and our window shot. So let's highlight all three of them. And I've also put a single star here so I know what I'm dealing with. And I'm going right click, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. And as the gentleman from the kitchen table does, I'm taking a sip of coffee. Oh man. Started the new year right. Little weight loss and going Weight Watchers, watching my points and trying a little coconut non-fat creamer. Oh my God, I don't think I can deal with it. Anyway, I hope you all had a great new year. This, by the way, is January, what are we, the 17th. Okay, so as we know, if you've been following me, that when you bring these layers into Photoshop, they will go in the layer as per how you shot them. So I shot the ambient first, I shot the flash second, and I shot the window third. So all I'm going to do is, actually, I'm going to first start by just dragging the flash shot up on the top, and I'm just going to turn it off because I don't want to deal with it yet. Okay, so I want to now align my layers because I was shooting on a lighter tripod. I had a little Gitsu Traveler, little 2.5 pound tripod, and I had my little Sony A6000, so I didn't have a lot of weight on my tripod. I normally have a very sturdy tripod, but this has a tendency of having a little movement. So I'm going to highlight all three layers by holding down Command and clicking on them. Or another tip is, let me go back. You can just click on the first one and then hold Shift down, go to the bottom one, and it will highlight everything. So if you had 20 layers to deal with, you could just go the top one, highlight, hold down Shift, and go to the bottom one. It's going to highlight all of them. And you can do that all the time in Photoshop for everything. Anyway, I'm just going to go, I highlighted all three layers, and I'm going to go into Edit, Auto Align Layers. There we go. And this is something you don't see me do much because I don't really need to usually. But I'm going to do Auto Align and go OK. And you can see it's going around, doing its thing. The more layers you have, the longer it's going to take. So you got to think of that too. Okay. Here we go now. So everything's lit up. Now we remember we put our flash shot up here, and we're not going to do this yet. That's going to be the next thing. So let's just click on the ambient layer. And now we've got just the ambient layer highlighted. You can see it's visible, or you can see it. That eyeball means it's visible. You can turn it off, turn it on. Anyway. Now let's go and let's create a layer mask. So I've got this highlighted, and I'm just going to create a layer mask for the flash shot. So let's go here, down there. Let's click Add a Layer Mask, and I'm going to do Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC, and hold that down, and then click Add a Layer Mask. Okay, brings back up the flash shot. So let's deal with the attributes that we're going to use for the this image. So I'm going to now have it on white for paint. And if I wanted it on black, all I'd have to do is click the X. It goes back and forth. You can see over here on my left. Hey, another request. If somebody knows a good way of making my cursor turn yellow or turn fluorescent or highlight or red circle, let me know, because I've had several people say they can't see what I'm doing because my mouse is not visible to them enough. So anyway, so let's go here, and we've got it white for paint. Let's do a paintbrush over here, right here, and let's right click on the image and go. We want a soft brush here with, I'm going to do 6% hardness. I could do 0. It's fine too. But I want a very, not a hard, I want a real soft brush. So I'm going to hit return or enter. It's going to close that out. So now let's make this on flow. I've been doing 6%. Some of you may want, that are starting out especially, or if it's really, really critical, you may want to go down to 3 or 4% flow, but you don't need much. I rarely go over 6% for masking in. And you can see the size of the brush. I'm just going to make my brush larger. Okay, and I'm going to make it, because I'm going to do this up here. There were some nice shadows here. So at least on the ceiling, I'm just going to paint it in at 6%. There we go. That's looking a little better. And again, all this stuff is extremely subtle, as all of you know. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And one thing I really liked is the ambient gave me a little bit of shine on here. Look at that. That's nice. And it's going to give me a little bit. Let me move out just an inch. There we go. And I'm going to put a little bit here. There we go. Really nice shadows. Okay. There we go. Now let's go to the bed. Let's get these shadows in the bed. I'm just going to open this all the way up. Okay, and here we go. I'm going to enlarge my brush a little bit and go in there and make some. Down on the floor is going to help. There we go. Look at that. There we go. A little bit there. Okay. Just a little bit of shadow there. Okay, a little bit here. Oh, and as far as the aligning layers, you can see right here. See that little bit of white X, kind of like white border here? Well, that's because one of the layers is out of alignment. So that'll show you that it actually did need to be aligned, because if you're masking and your layers are out of alignment, you will notice a ghosting effect. So anyway, so let me do a little bit more ambient here. Just a little teeny bit more here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let me go back and forth. I'm going to turn off the visibility of the layer. And there is no masking of ambient. And there is a masking of ambient. And I like it because, okay, the light, logical, theoretical light coming in should be coming in from the window. Because I popped the flash off just above my head on the ceiling straight up, I'm lighting from camera. And that's going to cause this to be lit from camera. And it just doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't look as good. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off a little bit because I really killed the pop in this. So I'm going to go, I'm down here, white to paint. I'm going to hit X and go black to erase. I'm just going to make it big. I'm just going to do one erase pass, 2 erase passes. There we go, a little bit down there. Actually, I went a little too far, so I'm just going to go back a little more there. Anyway, so that's where I like it. I'm happy with that. So I could certainly deliver this photo, but the next thing I'm going to do is I really want to emphasize this view. So I'm going to now go back and highlight or make the layer visible. I'm going to click that, and you can see here I've got that layer. And I'm going to use, I'm going to go up here and highlight this layer, and then I'm going to do a new layer mask. Again, I'm going to do Option on a Mac and Alt on a PC. Hold that down, create a new layer mask. Now I'm also going to do, I'm I'm not going to do darken mode here. I'm going to do freehand, because the other thing I want to do is I want this mask. You can see that the ambient and the flash really, I got a lot of fringing here, all in here. I want to make this really sharp. So I'm going to utilize what I've got in the window shot. So let's go here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this on 50% flow. Sometimes when I do windows, if I'm doing darken mode, I will be doing 100%. Actually, I'm going to bring this down to 20% because I'm going to be masking in a little bit on these curtains, because as you can see, I've got some fringing here. It's the one thing about the Samyang and the Rokinon 12mm lens. It's very sharp. It has very little distortion, but it does have an issue with fringing here. So the flash image, the flash layer will help take care of that. So anyway, I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to paint this in. Okay, I'm going to actually close this down a little bit. Just a little more so I can see the whole thing, but it's a little larger. Okay, so let's go and paint in these windows first. Look at how nice that is. And also, because the wind was blowing in this, I really have to do this 100% window, because as you can see, watch this here. If I just do this little palm tree out here, watch, it's going to move. Actually, there's not much wind there. Let me try it up here. Well, you're not really seeing it because there's not much wind. There we go. So you could see that moved. Let me go back. This is the flash frame, and this is the, I'm going to mask in the new window exposure. So some of these leaves are moving, some of these palm fronds are moving. So you really want to make sure that you do the window at 100% mask. Because if you do it at 80%, it's going to have a little bit of ghosting. Okay, let's get right into this. I'm going to paint this in. Here we go. Now, obviously, the chair's not going to be moving, but all this stuff will be moving. Okay. I'm just painting in here, my same soft brush. Here we go. Here we go. Freehand. All this is freehand. Real easy. Okay, let me go in here. And you can see that this really helped with the, let me get a little more on these curtains. Because what it did was around the curtains was a little bit of haze, and that's because of the overpowering ambient light. Even with the flash shot, I had ambient light coming in. So I love it, man. This is a crystal clear window without darken mode. So let's just zoom in here again and look at it. Helped. It didn't completely get rid of it, and I'll show you how to get rid of it later, but it sure helped. Let's take this out. You can see right down in here, look at this when I bring it back. Certainly helped, and it sure made, let's go zoom out here. It sure made a difference to this room. There you go. It's actually a little dark, so what I'm going to do is take down the opacity just a little bit and bring back a little of that. So you could go 100% back where you were, and you can dial this down or up. I'm just going to dial it down to 90%. Okay. Clap, clap. Okay. This would have taken me about 10 minutes max to do, and that's longer than real estate because this is, again, a hotel commercial shoot. But now we're just going to deal with a couple of the final shots. So first thing I do when I do shots like this is I just deal with the overall, and now I'm going to deal with the, let's go in here and look at these issues on this right here. We want to get rid of this. Now, I don't want to go, be honest with you, this kind of a commercial shoot, I had to do so many rooms and so much. I had to really compromise in my time on shooting and editing because have to make this profitable, and also had to spend some time kiteboarding and windsurfing with the family. So I had to get in and out, and I'll tell you, it was very difficult working in Mexico because of the mañana effect. Everything is tomorrow and a little laid back on time schedules. I was in a hurry, but the maids were not in a hurry, so I had to wait for each room to get made. That's why this whole shoot, I think I did 20 rooms, 20 bungalows, and it took me a full week to do, along with all the other shots. You'll see more of those if you keep checking back with me this next month or so. So let's take care of all these wrinkles here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to zoom out, okay? And I'm going to flatten all this because I want to just now, I'm done with this, I'm happy with it, I'm not going to change anything. What I want to do though is just do Command F for flatten. And I've got, there we go, I've got it all into one. Now what I can do is go up here and go into layer. And what we're basically going to do is use Gaussian blur to take out most of these wrinkles. It's not going to take them out completely, but it's going to do a good job, you'll see. Okay, it's really simple and fast. And again, I learned that from Serge Ramelli and a couple other people. So here we go. In the layer, let's go up to layer, go click it, and let's do a duplicate layer. Okay, and I'm not even going to name this because I only have one. I don't really need to name it. So let's go here. And I've got the new layer here, which is on top. And basically all I want to do is I want to take this layer and I want to make this a blur layer, okay? Because I'm going to mask in this blur layer into the other exposure. So let's go into filter and let's click filter. Let's go into blur, go over here and let's go down to Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur is the only blur I really ever use, and it's something that it's a magic trick and it's just great stuff. So we're going to move here and I'm going to click in here and let's go right into here and let's go down to where we start, and we're looking at the amount of haze that we want to, amount of blur that we want to go here. I'm going to actually go down a little bit. So there we go. That's zoomed in on here. And we're going to bring this up to, let's start with 1 pixel blur. That's pretty good, but we're going to need a little more. Let's go up to 2 pixel blur. Pretty good, but I think I can even get away with a little more. Let's go up to 3 pixels. And I like that. So actually I'm going to go 3.5. I'm going to try that. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and there, this is the blur layer, as you can see. You can't use it for the whole picture because everything's blurry now, but this is going to actually, you know what, I'm going to even bring it more. Let's go back into blur. Let's go into Gaussian blur again, and let's go up to, I think I had it on 6. Let's do 5. Okay, nice compromise. Still going to have some of these because if you do too much, it just doesn't look right. And 5 is actually kind of pushing it. Sometimes I only use 1 or 2, I mean 1 on for Gaussian blur. So anyway, okay, so now we've got that layer. Now let's just create a new layer mask as we always do. Hold down Option, Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac. Let's do add a new layer mask. Okay, there we have this. And basically all I'm going to do is I've got that same soft brush and I'm going to put it on 20% flow, okay? And I'm just going to go paint in that blur. There you go. And as you can see, it's doing a pretty good job. And I'm just doing freehand. Now I want to make sure to stay away from the edge of the bedspread because I want that to be sharp. And this is really just a subtle way of making it better. And I'm going to show you another way we can lose some of these wrinkles even more. Another thing you could have done easily is to click the polygonal tool. Let's go into here, just before the edge of this bed. Let's go here, down in here. Okay, in here, and just before the edge of this bedspread, I'm just going to select this, as you can see. Hope that didn't confuse any of you. Let's go here, and remember, don't go over the edge because we want the edges to be sharp. But here, I'm just going to go back to paint, and now I've got a template. So I'm just going to go just paint over this whole thing. There you go. I can do the freehand a little better, a little easier. Okay, so let's check that out. How does that look? Look at that, look at that. A whole hell of a lot better. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to deselect this. Okay, and a couple of things I'm going to do. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm now going to take rid of this, some of this wrinkle, and all I'm going to do is go up here into the spot healing brush tool, and I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to make my brush's radius the size of the brush down here. Oh, actually, now, oh, I don't want to go there. I'm sorry. Back up, back up. Let's do the Gaussian blur up here on the pillow. And again, I apologize. So let's go up into here, and let's just do freehand the Gaussian blur here, here, here. There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm on the wrong tool. I apologize. Paintbrush at 20%. That's good. Actually, I'm going to go up to 70% because I want to speed this bad boy up. But you can play with it. Okay, so there we got the Gaussian blur. Let's see how it works on here. Really, really makes these nice. Helps a lot. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. Oh yeah, up in here. Okay, and if you go over, it's okay. I'm just freehanding this again. You can select it. You can select it and pick exactly what you want to do. Spend, as always, spend as little or as much time as you want on everything. It's up to you. Really, for me, I do different amounts for different things. I'm going to go soften this up a little bit, the bedspread. These maids in Mexico didn't, I'm not kind of trying to rip on Mexico, but they're not used to this, and I couldn't really speak with them because I don't speak fluent Spanish. Okay, there we go. Okay, and let's go in here, a little softer in here, and let's go in here, a little bit soft in there, a little blur in there. Okay, so this took out these wrinkles, but left in some of the wrinkles. Okay, so now I'm going to go where I wanted to go in the first place. Just before this, I'm going to flatten the image. Okay, now I'm going to go up and zoom in quite a bit, and I'm going to get rid of a couple of these. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying. I'm going to go back into the spot healing brush tool, click that, and I'm on content aware proximity match, and I'm on a nice soft brush. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger than what I want. There we go. And I'm just going to get rid of these big wrinkles. There we go. And again, for a real estate shoot, you might not even think about doing something like this because it does take time. And as I hate to even admit, because I'm always saying it's not time is money, it's better work. Well, this is time is money. Actually, time was time with my family. So that looks a lot better. Let's look at that. Now let's go up into here. Let's get rid of this wrinkle. I'm just going to start from this end and go out. There we go. Little wrinkle repair right there. Let's take care of that. There we go. And you got to play with this tool. You got to get used to it because sometimes it will work great, sometimes it won't. Okay, let's see how that is. Good. Let's get rid of this one and this one and this one. And maybe even this one. And when you come up against something like here is a crossroads of one thing and another thing. Because if I just got rid of that it's sometimes I want to, let me go back. Sometimes I want to actually just do one spot right here and then continue on with the line in a second one. I don't know if that made any sense. The example wasn't really clear. Anyway, we're winging it at best. Anyway, okay, so let's look at this things right now. I'm going to actually get rid of this one right here. There we go. Okay, let me zoom in here and look around here. And that to me is looking pretty darn good. I got a little bit soft up in here, but that's okay, because when you zoom out, I don't think you're going to see it. There we go. Okay, and again, this is going to be for, not MLS, but the website. It's not going to be like huge printing and stuff. This is just a room in a hotel. I see one little thing that had bugged me before down there on the right-hand side, so I'm going to go down here, and again, I'm going to use the spot healing brush right there, and I'm just going to take care of this little crack in the cement. Actually, I'm going to go right here, repair that, and I'm going to go here, bam, right here. Looks pretty good. Let's look around. And I like to examine my shots when I'm doing something more important, like a hotel. Actually, I'm going to take care of that one right there. There we go. Okay. I am pretty happy with this. There's only one more thing I need to do. So what I'm going to do is, and actually the bedspread could be a little bit smoother, but I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to do Command S and W to bring it back into Lightroom. Click on Lightroom and it brings it up right now. 1, 2, 3. Where are you? Oh, here it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Here's the one we just did. And one more thing I'm going to do is deal with, because I get comments quite often. I'm going to deal with the fringing. Okay, let me go into 1-to-1. Just see it right here. You can see the fringing on here, so I'm just going to go down to lens corrections, and I'm just going to bring up the purple fringing a little bit there. There we go. You can see it here. Actually, if you look right here, wait, let me get even closer. You can see it right here. It wasn't real bad, but let's just bring this up here, and there we got rid of it. You got to do it with a grain of salt. You got to really watch what you're doing when you're dealing with that defringing slider. Anyway, next thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of white, because that will increase my pop a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of saturation to really make it pop. Bring the blacks down a little bit, contrast up a tiny bit, and clarity up just a little bit. Now I'm going to crop this because I didn't want to see so much right here. Actually, I'm going to crop it to here. And I didn't really want to see so much of that. I do want to leave in, it's a little weird. Actually, I'm going to enlarge that just a little bit. Here's the thing. I really want to leave in the ceiling fan because that is showing potential guests that each room has a ceiling fan. I like to show that if it has a refrigerator, I like to show if it has even electrical plugs. I like to make sure that I leave in the electrical plugs because those are important things when you're going on vacation. So let's go here. Let's do it in a full screen and look at that. Are we happy? I'm pretty happy with it. No, it's not perfect, as I don't think I can ever get perfect, but I'm pretty darn happy with it. It was the right amount of balance between amount of time spent and return on investment. And going back here, and I'm just going to say, Goodbye for now. Rich Baum with Rich Baum Photography saying we got a couple of things. I'll probably release the news in February. But you'll all know about it, and really, really excited. And I want to thank everybody for all your kind words, your feedback. Think I've struck a chord in people doing, we're not doing high production value on this kind of stuff, but we will try to increase that this year, coming year. But we're just getting down to the basics and the points to help you, give you the tools to make everything you're working, especially with basic real estate shoots where we're not doing designer shoots or hotel shoots, we're doing real estate shoots. But I thought you'd all like to see this one. So anyway, Rich Baum with Rich Baum Photography signing out from Sacramento, California. Have a great day. All work hard, shoot better, shoot smarter, and aspire to make more money, aspire to get better, higher end clients. Have a great day. Bye.